Everyone in the colony was afraid of her. They called her a life-draining alien, a creature that came once a month, took what she wanted, and left without a word. But the truth, no one had ever actually seen or heard anyone. And yet, no one dared to go near her, except one man. Benjamin Chun had survived things most people never would. 3 interstellar jumps, that a quarantine period that felt longer than the journey itself, and a decontamination process so aggressive he still smelled like artificial lavender. But none of that prepared him for what waited at New Anchorage Colony. Or more accurately, what didn't. No welcoming team, no officials, no human faces. Just a floating card, IT hovered in front of him, its screen blinking softly. Administrator Chun, it read, "Please proceed to Residential Unit 7A. Do not leave the marked path. Stay indoors after 1900 hours on the 15th of each month." Then, in a cheerful robotic voice, "Welcome to New Anchorage Colony. Current population, 473. A short pause. Well, 474 now that you're here. Please enjoy your stay. And remember, safety protocols exist for your continued existence." Benjamin blinked. That was not normal. He had worked in colonial administration for 6 years. He had heard automated systems before, but never one that sounded this unsettling. IT felt like being welcomed by someone smiling, while quietly warning you something was very wrong. The colony itself didn't help. That IT stretched across a valley of red-brown rock. Buildings looked rushed. Some were prefabricated modules. Others were printed on-site, shaped like melted wax that had hardened too quickly. Everything about the place said one thing: function over comfort. Someone had tried to make it feel like home. There were murals painted on walls, bright colors, smiling animals, green landscapes, earth. Benjamin recognized the pattern immediately. Colonial psychology called it aggressive nostalgia. People painted what they missed when they felt too far from home. His assigned living quarters were surprisingly large. That usually meant one thing: the last person didn't need them anymore. That he found the file on his desk. Previous administrator, deceased. Cause of death, equipment malfunction. Benjamin frowned. That was bureaucratic language for, "We don't really know, and we're not going to look too closely." Next to the file sat a mug. Faded letters still readable. "Galaxy's best boss." He picked it up, turning it slowly in his hand. Was it strange to keep it? Or practical? He hadn't decided yet, when someone knocked. 3 knocks. Pause. Then 2 more. Very specific. Very intentional. Administrator Chun? A thin man stood in the doorway. Early 40s. Nervous. Restless. The kind of person who looked like he ran on caffeine and worry. "I'm Marcus," he said quickly. "I'll be assisting you with administrative duties. And we're very glad you're here." A short pause. "Even though you probably won't last long." Benjamin lowered the mug. "I'm sorry, what?" Marcus blinked fast. "Not because of you," he rushed. "Just the situation here. It's complicated. I've prepared full briefing materials. Everything you need to know." The words came out in one breath. Benjamin stared at him. Marcus breathed. Marcus inhaled sharply. "Now," Benjamin continued, "explain what you meant by 'I won't last long.'" Marcus's eyes shifted to the wall. A calendar. Certain dates were circled in red. "Well, sir, the last 3 administrators," he hesitated. 2 left. 1 died. Benjamin raised an eyebrow. "That's supposed to be comforting?" "Statistically," Marcus said weakly, "those are actually decent odds." Benjamin sighed. "All right, let's start simple. What's my first responsibility?" Marcus immediately pulled up a holographic display. "Monthly budget allocation review. Especially the tribute fund." Benjamin leaned forward. Tribute fund? In 6 years, he had never seen a budget line like that. Marcus nodded nervously. "Yes, sir. We set aside resources every month. Livestock, minerals, sometimes data or tech. For her." Benjamin's expression hardened slightly. "Who is her?" Marcus swallowed. "For Vivian." Silence. "And why?" Benjamin asked slowly. "Are we paying her tribute?" He leaned back. "Is she some kind of warlord? Corporate authority? Tax enforcer?" Marcus's face lost all color. "No, sir." A pause. She's not human. Benjamin didn't move. She's what? Marcus spoke carefully now. She's one of the Seraphel. The first colonists met her when they arrived. There was an incident, and now we have an arrangement. Benjamin's voice dropped. What kind of arrangement? Marcus hesitated, then said it plainly. We give her what she wants. And she doesn't. He stopped. Benjamin leaned forward. Doesn't what? Marcus looked him straight in the eyes. Drain our life force and leave us as empty shells. Silence filled the room. Heavy, uncomfortable. Benjamin stared at him for a long moment, then said quietly, Marcus, please tell me you're joking. Marcus didn't smile. I wish I was, sir. The next morning, Benjamin woke up to alarms, loud, sharp, echoing across the entire colony. For a second, he thought it was an emergency, an attack, a system failure. Something serious. Then he checked the time and remembered today was the 15th tribute day. The words felt strange even in his own mind. An entire colony shutting down, hiding inside reinforced shelters because one woman was coming. Not an army, not a disaster, just one person. He got dressed quickly and stepped outside. The streets felt wrong. People were moving fast, not running, but close. Doors were closing, windows locking. Did a woman rush past him with 3 children? She stopped suddenly when she saw him walking the wrong way. Administrator, she said, worried. The shelter is that way. She pointed behind him. You're heading toward your office. I know, Benjamin replied calmly. I'm going there. She stared at him like he had just made the worst decision possible. Sir, you're supposed to stay in the reinforced shelter. There's a shelter? Her face lit up with pride. Of course. Built after the first tribute day. Reinforced steel walls. Independent air system. She said it like she was describing something impressive, something safe. Benjamin gave a small nod. Thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Then he kept walking. Inside the administrative building, Marcus was already there, setting up monitoring screens, hands shaking slightly. Multiple camera feeds lit up the room, all showing the same place. The central square point, 3 synthetic cows stood quietly, grazing, completely unaware of what was about to happen. Around them, crates, minerals, supplies. Offerings, sir, Marcus said without looking up. You should really consider going to the shelter. Benjamin crossed his arms. Marcus, have you ever actually seen or hurt anyone? Marcus paused. Well, no, sir. But that's because we follow the protocols. The protocols keep us safe. Benjamin tilted his head. So no direct evidence? Marcus hesitated. Old Jeremiah said she looked at him once, and he felt cold for 3 days. Benjamin didn't react. Old Jeremiah also believes the water system reads his thoughts. Marcus opened his mouth, then slowly closed it. That's fair, sir. Benjamin turned back to the screens. Everything felt off, too controlled, too fearful, too certain without proof. Time passed slowly. The entire colony was holding its breath. Even from inside the building, he could feel it, that quiet tension in the air, like everyone was waiting for something terrible to happen. Then she appeared. Explosion. Dramatic entrance. Flash of light. She simply walked into the square. Benjamin leaned closer to the screen. She was tall, easily over 2 meters, her skin a deep midnight blue, not reflecting light, but almost absorbing it. Her eyes, bright crimson, sharp, alert, but not violent. She moved with control, grace, like every step was intentional, not rushed, not aggressive, just calm. She's beautiful, Benjamin said without thinking. Marcus choked. Sir, that's how it works. She projects attraction to lure victims. Benjamin didn't even look at him. Marcus, she's 30 meters away. On a screen, Vivian approached the offerings, slowly, carefully, like she didn't want to disturb anything. Then something unexpected happened. One of the synthetic cows walked toward her, completely unafraid. Marcus gasped. The security team on another screen tensed. Weapons ready. The cow stopped in front of her. Vivian looked down at it. The cow looked back, and then she reached out and gently patted its head. The cow made a soft, content sound and went back to grazing. Benjamin blinked. Did she just pet the tribute? Animal. Marcus looked confused. That's new. Benjamin leaned forward, watching more carefully now. Not just what she did, but how she moved, her shoulders, her posture, her expression. This wasn't a predator. This wasn't someone hunting. This looked like someone tired. Someone going through a routine they didn't enjoy. She gathered the supplies, efficient, quick, using some kind of advanced tech. Everything moved smoothly to in-O aggression, in-O threats, and sudden moves 0.5 minutes. That's all it took. Then she stopped, just for a second, and looked up, right, toward the administrative building, toward the window, toward him. Their eyes met. Even across the distance, Benjamin felt it. Not fear, not danger. Something else, loneliness. Then she was gone to an O sound, an O effect, just gone at a soft signal played across the colony. The all clear. People could come out again. The danger had passed. Marcus dropped into his chair, relief flooding his face. Another successful tribute day. No incidents. No casualties. Benjamin didn't move, still staring at the empty square. Marcus, he said slowly, I want every record we have on first contact. Everything. Reports. Logs. Messages. All of it. Marcus frowned. Sir, why? Benjamin finally turned. Because I don't think we're dealing with a monster. A pause. I think we've been making a mistake. Marcus looked at him like he just said something insane. What kind of mistake? Benjamin glanced back at the screen and could see the empty square. At best, he said quietly, we've misunderstood her. At worst, another pause. We've been treating someone like a threat who never was one. For the next 3 weeks, Benjamin did what he did best. He disappeared into data. Reports, logs, medical files, first contact records. Anything that mentioned Vivian or the SAR raffle, the T first glance, everything looked serious. Formal language, warning labels, scattered mentions of danger. But when he read carefully, really carefully, the story started to fall apart. The description of Vivian was always the same. Tall, blue skin, red eyes, appears once a month, collects tribute, leaves, and the most important claim? She can drain human life force through contact. Benjamin searched for proof, actual proof, medical evidence, verified cases, clear documentation. There was none, not a single confirmed case. Instead, he found something else. Point two reported attacks, both used as evidence that she was dangerous. But when he checked the details, the truth was very different. The first person had an undiagnosed heart condition. The second died in an equipment accident. Neither had anything to do with Vivian. The timeline didn't even match. Both incidents happened before the tribute system began. Benjamin leaned back in his chair, slowly, thinking. So, no proof, he muttered. Just assumptions. Then he opened the original first contact logs, not the summaries, not the edited versions, the raw, unfiltered records. And that's when everything changed. The first encounter wasn't a confrontation. It was a mistake. The colony's first survey team had set up their mining operation directly on top of Serafel Heritage Site. They didn't know. They couldn't have known, but Vivian did. She arrived to inform them. Asked them to move. That's it. But the team, panic point one person fire weapon another, triggered an emergency signal. Someone else fainted. Chaos, fear, confusion. And Vivian? According to the logs, she did nothing. She stood there, waiting, watching, until the panic settled. Then she spoke again, calmly, politely. She asked them to move just a little, about 300 meters. And here's the part that made Benjamin pause. She even told them that the minerals were better in that direction. Benjamin blinked. She helped them, he said quietly. But the colonists didn't see it that way. They were already scared, already expecting danger. They misunderstood. They thought she was demanding something at a price, at a cost, at a tribute. And that's how it started. The next month, they left supplies in the square. Livestock, minerals, offerings. Vivian returned, saw them, and refused. The log showed it clearly. 3 separate times, she tried to give everything back. She even left written messages, explaining that she didn't need any of it. But the colonists misread that too. They thought it was a test. So they tried harder, more gifts, more effort, more pressure. 6 months later, Vivian stopped refusing. Not because she wanted the tribute, but because refusing it was causing more confusion, more fear, more problems as she accepted it. And the system continued. For 3 years, Benjamin stared at the screen. We've been forcing gifts on her, he said slowly. Marcus, standing behind him, looked uncomfortable. That doesn't explain the life-draining. Benjamin opened another document that a scientific report. Old. Poorly translated. The original term, bioenergetic resonance. Somewhere along the way, it had been translated as life force draining. Benjamin shook his head. That's not what it means at all. Marcus frowned. Then what is it? Benjamin read carefully. It's emotional empathy. A pause. She can sense feelings. Share them. Understand emotional states directly. Marcus stared. That still sounds dangerous. Benjamin looked at him. No. That sounds like understanding people better than we understand ourselves. He leaned back again. Thinking deeper now. If she can feel emotions, he said slowly, then what has she been feeling for the past 3 years? Marcus didn't answer immediately. Then, quietly, fear. Benjamin nodded. Exactly. 400 people afraid of her. Every month. Every time she shows up. He looked at the calendar, 8T, the red circles. We've been surrounding her with fear, while she's forced to feel all of it. Marcus shifted slightly. That must be uncomfortable. Benjamin exhaled. Not just uncomfortable. Lonely. Silence filled the room. Then Benjamin straightened. Next tribute day is in 8 days. Marcus immediately tensed. Sir, I don't like the way that sounds. Benjamin ignored that. We're doing something different. Marcus blinked. Different. Usually leads to disaster here. Benjamin gave a small smile. Only when people are afraid to think. He pulled up a protocol file. Standard first contact procedure, he read. Verbal greeting. Clear, peaceful intent. Cultural exchange. He looked at Marcus. We skipped all of that. Marcus nodded slowly. We went straight to leaving cows in a field. Exactly. Benjamin closed the file. No more guessing. No more fear. This time, he said firmly, we talked to her. Marcus stared. Talk. As in face to face. Benjamin nodded. No weapons. No sweets. No hiding. A pause. Just conversation. Marcus rubbed his face. This is either very brave or very stupid. Benjamin smiled slightly. Let's find out. On the next tribute day, everything felt different. Not for the colony. They were still afraid, still hiding, still following the same routine. But Benjamin? He broke it. Instead of going to the shelter, he walked straight into the central square, alone. The ground beneath his feet was worn smooth. 3 years of monthly rituals had left their mark. Fear had a pattern, and this place carried it. But today, there was something new. A small table, 2 chairs, and a thermos of coffee. Marcus's voice came through his earpiece. Sir, she'll be here in about 3 minutes. A pause. Your heart rate is elevated. Benjamin smirked slightly. I'm fine. You're not fine, Marcus replied. You're about to do something extremely risky. Benjamin looked around. Every window was filled with people, watching him, waiting. Maybe, he said quietly, or maybe I'm about to fix something. Then she arrived. Vivian stepped into the square. Same as before, calm, controlled, silent. But this time she didn't keep walking. She froze because this time he was there, standing in the open, not hiding, not running, just waiting. For a few seconds, neither of them moved. The entire colony held its breath. Benjamin slowly raised his hand. Not as a command, not as a defense, just a greeting. Hello, he said clearly. My name is Benjamin. I'm a new administrator. A pause, and I'd like to talk to you, if that's okay. Vivian didn't respond immediately. Her posture shifted slightly. Her hand moved towards something at her side. Defensive, not aggressive. When she spoke, her voice was calm, clear, almost musical. You should step back, she said. Maintain distance. This is for your safety. Benjamin didn't move. I appreciate that, he replied. But I don't think I'm in danger. A small pause. I think we've been wrong about you. Inside his earpiece, Marcus whispered urgently, Sir, Her bioelectric signals just spiked. Benjamin didn't react. What kind of emotion? I'm not sure, Marcus said, but it's not anger. Back in the square, Vivian took a small step forward, then stopped again. You read the reports? She asked. Benjamin nodded. All of them. Another step. Even the parts where you try to return the tribute, he continued. And we kept insisting. Something changed in her expression, subtle, but real. Yes, she said quietly. Benjamin took a breath. I'm sorry. That word hung in the air. For a moment, Vivian just stared at him. You're apologizing? She asked. Benjamin nodded. We arrived on your land. You tried to help us. We panicked. A small pause. Then we spent 3 years treating you like a threat, while forcing gifts on you that you didn't even want. Silence. Then, for the first time, her expression cracked. You understand that? She asked softly. I do now, Benjamin said. And I should have understood sooner. A very small smile appeared, barely visible, but real. And the cows? She asked. Benjamin exhaled. We can stop that too. That made her smile slightly more. I would appreciate that. She stepped closer now, still cautious, but no longer distant. You are either very brave, she said, or very foolish. Benjamin smiled. Probably both. He gestured toward the table. I brought coffee. Vivian looked at it, confused, curious. I wasn't sure if you drink it, he added, but it felt more appropriate than livestock. For the first time, she laughed at a soft, light sound, like wind moving through glass. You set up a table in the tribute square? Benjamin shrugged. I thought we could try something new. A pause, like talking. She walked toward the table slowly, studying everything, like she didn't fully trust it yet. Then she sat her day carefully. Benjamin poured coffee into 2 cups, steam rising between them. Vivian picked hers up, looked at it, smelled it. This is pleasant, she said. Benjamin smiled. Careful. It's strong. She took a small sip, and immediately, her ears lifted slightly. This is very good. Benjamin relaxed just a little. Trade routes, he said. One of the few things we do right. For a moment, they just sat there in fear and tension. Just 2 people, talking. Then Benjamin leaned forward slightly. I have a question. Vivian looked at him. What do you actually want from us? A pause. Not what we think you want, he added. What would make this work? She stared at him. Longer this time. You're serious, she said. I am. Another pause. You really want to know? Benjamin nodded. I really do. Something shifted again, deeper this time. You're the first one, she said quietly. The first one in 3 years who asked. For a moment, Vivian didn't answer. She just sat there, holding the cup, looking at him like she was trying to decide something important. Then slowly she spoke. I don't want tribute. Simple, clear. I never did. Benjamin nodded. I figured. She looked down at the coffee for a second, then back at him. I just wanted your people to move their mining operation. 300 meters. That's all. Benjamin let out a quiet breath. Done, he said immediately. Vivian blinked. Just like that? Yes. A small pause. And what else? He asked gently. This time she hesitated. Not because she didn't know, but because it mattered. I don't want to be feared, she said. Her voice was softer now, more real. I've been alone here for 3 years. Every time I come, everyone hides. A pause. I can feel it, she added quietly, the fear. Benjamin nodded slowly. I know, and I'm sorry for that too. She looked at him again, studying him. You apologize a lot, she said. Benjamin gave a small smile. We have a lot to fix. Silence again, but this time it wasn't heavy. It was calm. Benjamin stood up, slowly, then extended his hand. Let's start over. Vivian looked at his hand, carefully. Your people believe my touch is dangerous, she said. Benjamin nodded. My people believe a lot of things that aren't true. A small pause. I trust the science, and I trust what I've seen. He held his hand steady. If I'm wrong, he added calmly, this is where we find out. Vivian looked at him for a long second. Then she reached out. Her hand hovered above his, just for a moment. Then she took it. Benjamin felt something strange, not pain, not fear, something else, that a quiet sensation, like warmth, like a soft current passing through him. And then something deeper, emotion, not just his own, hers, relief, caution, hope. Loneliness slowly fading at IT lasted only a second. Then it was gone. She let go. Benjamin blinked once, then smiled. Well, he said, I'm not dead. Vivian laughed again, this time freely. You're either incredibly brave or completely reckless. Benjamin shrugged. I prefer optimistic. Inside the colony, everything changed. People have been watching. Through windows, through cameras, they saw the handshake. They saw him still standing, still smiling, still alive, and slowly, something shifted. Fear began to fade. The next day, Benjamin called a meeting. Everyone came, some nervous, some curious, some still unsure. Vivian stood beside him, not in the distance, not hidden. Right there, in the last 3 years, Benjamin began, we made a mistake. A pause. We were afraid. And instead of understanding, we created a story. He looked around the room, and we treated that story like truth. Murmurs spread. She is not dangerous, he continued. She never was. Vivian stepped forward. My name is Vivian, she said calmly. I live here. I always have. She looked at them. I try to speak to you, but you were afraid. A small pause. I understand that. Then she smiled slightly. But I would like to try again. Silence. Then someone raised a hand. Can you really sense emotions? Vivian nodded. Yes. Another voice. Can you help with medical problems? Yes. Another. Can we see your heritage site? This time, she smiled fully. I would like that. And just like that, everything changed. The tribute system ended. The mining operation moved. The synthetic cows were relocated to the valley, where they lived peacefully. People stopped hiding. They started asking, learning, talking, and slowly, fear turned into curiosity, then into understanding, then into something else, connection. Weeks later, Benjamin stood in the same square again. But this time, it felt different. No tension. No silence. Just people. Vivian walked among them, talking, laughing, not a monster, not a myth, just someone they never tried to understand. Marcus stood beside Benjamin, holding 2 cups of coffee. You changed everything, sir, he said. Benjamin shook his head. No, I just talked to her. He looked out at the colony. Turns out that was enough. Across the square, Vivian looked back at him. Their eyes met, and this time, there was no fear, only understanding, only warmth. Benjamin raised his cup slightly. She smiled. And in that moment, everything made sense. The most dangerous thing in the colony was never the alien. It was the story they believed, the fear they held on to, the distance they created, because sometimes the thing we are most afraid of is not a monster at all, just someone waiting to be understood. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply say hello.